I like the idea of inspiring people to reach for their best self.
But a merchant of hope sometimes sails in a raggedy boat, but will go forth and to effect a rescue.
I genuinely get a joy of seeing people have an idea, reach for it, execute it, and surprise themselves. Like, if I could give a metaphor, hope would be the gas to the engine of a car, right? So it's the motivating factor that keeps us to persevere, as you said, to keep pushing us, even when things don't seem like, it's going to be in our favor. That whisper in the back of your head or in your heart that's telling you, doesn't matter. Blind faith sometimes, just fly, go for it. Yes. That's the hope.
Yeah.
So how would you define hope?
I believe hope is a gift. It's a gift that's given to human beings. Hope is that reservoir inside of us that kicks in when we feel hopeless. Hope could not exist without hopelessness. But it's like a cigarette lighter. When you hit that thing, the flint, and it makes a spark. I see hope as that spark that ignites actions where we may think that something can't happen, but because of hope, we still persevere and push on.
Resilience is the ability to push forward. It's like you can't have, they go hand in hand, hope and resilience, right? So you got it. Yes, you have to be hopeful, but if you aren't resilient, the hope is always going to disappear. It's always going to evaporate. So you got to have that faith along with the hope, and you got to keep pushing every single day. Resilience is a single mother living in the Bronx, or anywhere in America, working double jobs, going to school. That's something my mom did. One of the strongest people I know. I tried to do that, and I was like, I don't know how she did it. So that's resilience.
Right. It's that bounce back. It's not allowing life to squeeze life out of you. Resilience is a fort that you can retreat to and get behind its walls and strengthen yourself. The resilience that I see, just as your mom, my dad worked up to 3 different jobs that I remember as a teenager. And I tell people, whatever my problems are in life, going to work was never one of them, because I saw him go to work for his family. Resilience is the ability to come back from something that you don't think that you can come back from.
I hope for many things, but one of the things that I hope for the most is a place where we all can continue to be ourselves freely. I think we're leaning to a better day where people are allowed to be themselves, be who they feel they are, and there be a level of acceptance along with that, or just a level of respect, mutual respect. And I think that's powerful as humans. I think we all should be able to express ourselves as, in positive ways, of course. But that's what I hope for everybody. So, what do you hope for?
I would hope that the world would get back on its proper axis, whatever that is. That it just seems that it's spinning out of control. My hope is that we come out of this stronger than we went in. That we come out of this tribulation, out of this trouble. That people can find that resilience and find that direction and find that purpose, That's what I hope for.
We all do. I think being present with the youth, right? The youth are very, they're the future. You know, growing up, I used to hear that all the time, and I never understood what it meant. You're the future, and it kind of just went over my head. But now I understand how much power is in those words, how true those words are. And I see the kids and the way the world is moving. And my call to action is just to be on the ground with them, engage with them, try to plant any seeds that I possibly can, anything that I'm learning in my years of age, to try to instill into them positive thinking. And then with the community organizing and get them to, you know, take pride in where they're from, and know you have a voice where you're from, and you can stand behind that voice. You can utilize that voice anytime you want, and you know, show them how to do that the best way I can.
Wow.
What would be your call to action?
I see myself as a merchant of hope, like a merchant marine sailing the seas, affecting rescue of young people, but of young people who are drowning in plain sight. There are people that see, but they don't want to go into the water. They don't want to inconvenience themselves. Or if it's not my child, I don't know who it is. When you talked about seeds, that's what we do. We plant seeds in mentoring programs and counseling programs and the like. And one of the things that I always remember about a seed, if I held an acorn up to an oak tree and used my abilities to speak acornese, I would tell the acorn that that's what's inside of you. And of course, the acorn would come back to me. It's like, how could that be inside of me? Look how big it is. And I would tell the acorn, everything that you are to become, it's already inside of you. My call to action is to mobilize people that can speak to young people, to let them know that greatness is already inside. I didn't come to bring greatness to you. I don't have a greatness store that I could send you to and give you a greatness charge card. It's already inside.